wondered who Britain's most notorious prisoner is? Meet Charles Bronson, a man whose name is synonymous with infamy in the annals of British crime history. Bronson, born as Michael Gordon Peterson, is known for his multiple name changes, each representing a new chapter in his tumultuous life. But it's not his name changes that earned him the reputation as Britain's hard man. Bronson's notoriety stems from his criminal record, a rap sheet longer than most novels. His first brush with the law came at the tender age of 13, and since then, his life has been a revolving door of prisons and reformatory schools. But it's not just the length of his criminal record that sets Bronson apart, it's the severity of his crimes and the audacity of his actions. Bronson's offenses range from petty theft to armed robbery, but it was his behavior inside the prison walls that truly cemented his reputation. This man has been behind bars for over 40 years, with the vast majority of that time spent in solitary confinement. With a seemingly insatiable appetite for mayhem, Bronson has instigated countless prison riots, taken hostages, and even staged rooftop protests, all adding to his infamy. His antics, while shocking, have become something of folklore within the prison system. Tales of his exploits are passed down from inmate to inmate, each story more unbelievable than the last. Like the time he took 2 Iraqi hijackers and a dozen prison guards hostage, demanding a helicopter to Cuba and an inflatable doll as part of his escape plan. Or when he single-handedly fought off a dozen officers while naked, earning him the nickname, the most violent prisoner in Britain. But it's not all brawn and bravado with Bronson. Beneath the tough exterior lies a complex character, a man who has spent most of his life in prison, yet has never killed a soul. A paradox, a puzzle, a prisoner. But what drove Bronson to such extremes? Let's delve into his early life. Born as Michael Peterson in 1952, Bronson's story starts in the town of Luton, England. Nestled within the heartland of the United Kingdom, this industrial town would serve as the backdrop for the early years of one of Britain's most notorious figures. The son of Era and Joe Peterson, Michael's childhood was relatively unremarkable, the kind you'd expect from a post-war British child growing up in a working-class family. At a young age, the family moved to Aberystwyth in Wales, a quaint seaside town with a charm that belied the turbulence of Michael's growing restlessness. He was a bit of a wild card, a rebel without a cause. His first run-in with the law was at the tender age of 13, a mere schoolboy playing truant. But it was a sign of things to come. As he grew older, his antics escalated, graduating from schoolyard mischief to petty thefts. The thrill of the chase, the adrenaline rush, the taste of danger, it was intoxicating. It was during these formative years that Michael Peterson began his dance with crime, a dance that would soon spiral into a full-blown waltz. By the age of 20, Michael was no stranger to the law enforcement. His reckless abandon had escalated to armed robbery, a crime that would land him his first prison sentence. The young lad from Luton, who once played truant, was now a convicted felon. The iron bars and the cold, stark walls of the prison were a far cry from the seaside charm of Aberystwyth or the industrial hum of Luton. And so began Bronson's long and tumultuous relationship with the British prison system. Little did he know then, as he stepped into his cell, that this would become his world, his stage. It was here, behind these walls, that Michael Peterson would fade, and in his place, the legend of Charles Bronson would be born. It was during his time in prison that Michael Peterson became Charles Bronson. It was a transformation born of the harsh realities of incarceration, a metamorphosis that saw a petty criminal morph into one of Britain's most notorious prisoners. The name change was an act of defiance, a symbol of the man he was becoming. He took on the moniker of the tough guy American actor Charles Bronson, a testament to his growing reputation for violence and unruliness within the prison system. It was a name that would soon echo through the halls of Britain's toughest prisons, instilling a sense of dread and awe among inmates and wardens alike. As Charles Bronson, he would go on to commit a series of notorious acts that would cement his infamy. There was the rooftop protest at Broadmoor Hospital, where he caused hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of damage during a day-long standoff. He earned the nickname, the most violent prisoner in Britain, and it was a title he wore with a perverse sense of pride. But it wasn't just his destruction of property that made headlines. Bronson was also known for his multiple hostage situations. He was a man who would take control of any situation, no matter how dire, turning it into a spectacle of power and defiance. He once held a librarian hostage for over 40 hours, demanding a helicopter, an inflatable doll, and a cup of tea as ransom. It was these outrageous acts that made him infamous, a figure of public fascination despite his violent tendencies. Yet, within the confines of his cell, Bronson began to reveal a different aspect of his personality. A man known for his brute strength and volatility also had a creative side. He began to draw, to write, to express himself in ways that went beyond violence and aggression. It was an unexpected twist in the tale of one of Britain's most infamous prisoners. Despite his violence, Bronson also began to show a different side in prison. A side that hinted at the complex and enigmatic man behind the notorious moniker. A man who was more than just the sum of his crimes. Among the mayhem and violence, Bronson found solace in art and writing. In the midst of chaos, a surprising revelation emerged. Charles Bronson, the man known for his notorious acts, discovered a serene refuge in the realms of art and literature. It's hard to reconcile the image of Bronson the brute with Bronson the artist and writer, but it's a stark contrast that adds yet another layer of intrigue to his story. In the stark confines of his cell, Bronson began to put pen to paper, expressing his thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a series of books. His debut, Solitary Fitness, offers a raw, unfiltered look into his life in solitary confinement. It's a gritty testament to his resilience and strength of spirit, and it garnered a considerable amount of attention, but it didn't stop there. Bronson continued to write, publishing a total of 10 books from the confines of his cell, each one a unique window into his world. Parallel to his writing, Bronson nurtured a talent for art. His pieces, often surreal and abstract, offered a stark contrast to his public persona. They depicted a man capable of deep thought and introspection, a man searching for meaning in a world that had seemingly turned its back on him. These works of art found their way to the outside world, fetching substantial amounts at auctions. What's more, Bronson chose to donate the proceeds from his art sales to various charities, a gesture that challenged the public's perception of him. Bronson's artistic and literary endeavors didn't go unnoticed. He was awarded the prestigious Kessler Trust Award for his poetry, and even created a cartoon strip for the prison newspaper, further showcasing his creativity and versatility. But how will Britain remember Charles Bronson? Let's look at his legacy. Charles Bronson, a name synonymous with violence, also leaves behind a more complex legacy. The man who spent over 4 decades behind bars, primarily in solitary confinement, has undoubtedly left an indelible mark on the British prison system. His conduct, characterized by violent outbursts and hostage-taking incidents, led to significant discussions about the handling of difficult prisoners. Yet it wasn't all chaos and brutality. Despite his notoriety, Bronson demonstrated a surprising capacity for benevolence. He raised significant amounts of money for charitable causes, often through his artwork. His drawings, often depicting his experiences and perspectives of life behind bars, were auctioned off, with the proceeds going to various charities. This unanticipated generosity added a layer of complexity to Bronson's image. And then there's the controversy. The film Bronson, released in 2009, brought Bronson's life to the big screen, igniting debate over the romanticization of his violent behavior. Some saw it as a bold exploration of a complex character, while others criticized it for glamorizing a man known for his violent tendencies. Bronson's notoriety has continued even in his later years. His multiple name changes, including a switch to Charles Salvador in honor of the artist Salvador Dali, kept him in the public eye. His audacious behavior and relentless defiance have made him a figure of fascination, a symbol of rebellion against a system perceived by many as oppressive. His legacy is, without a doubt, a contentious one. It's a blend of brutality and benevolence, of rebellion and resilience. It's a legacy that continues to provoke debate and divide opinion. Charles Bronson, a man of contradictions, remains Britain's most notorious prisoner, a symbol of an unforgiving system and a testament to the human capacity for adaptation and resilience. His story serves as a stark reminder of the darker corners of human nature and the surprising ways in which it can manifest.